What up, guys? CP the Tool Addict. Woo! America! Woo! I hope all you've had a great week. I know I have. But today's video is going to be about swivel sockets. We're going to find out if this set of sockets that cost less than this one socket is worth the money. Some surprising stuff, I'll tell you. I'm kind of intrigued. But we're going to talk about this, and I want to hear from you guys what you think. Let's get into the video because this one's gonna be a doozy. Come on, swivel sockets. So awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. I appreciate you coming. All you guys that are happy and we've had a great week in this country. Just absolutely awesome. So, and I thought this was fitting for the video because I really think that this kind of ties into some future stuff. Anyways, nonetheless, these are a set of Chinese sockets. They are called Mixpower. I ran across these, and you can see they're made in China. Before you click off the video, I want everybody to weigh in on this because I am pretty intrigued myself. We're not going to get into we're not going to talk about the making or whatnot. I guess we're going to talk about the making of these sockets, but what I'm trying to say is the differences in these swivel sockets and where they're coming from, and I am a little bit shocked about Chinese manufacturing on this particular socket, to be honest with you. This is the best socket that I've ever seen come out of China for a swivel socket in my life, okay? And that's saying a lot because I've seen a lot of trashy, garbage swivel sockets in my life, and I've looked at them. I've literally, it's just, they're bad. They're really bad. And I've always said, my favorite swivel sockets don't have collars. In fact, you guys should know if you've been watching my channel, the collarless, not necessarily these ones, they're pinless, but my Cornwalls are pretty much one of my favorites, and a lot of you guys have your own favorites. To each your own, Some people like the Matco ADV ones, or the Matco USA made pinless ones. I have not had as much good luck, but I do, and you notice that Snap-on, Mac, and all of them have went to pinned style sockets. They used to be pinless. This is an older Mac socket, and anybody that's a Mac dealer or has been around the tool business for a while knows the era in the early 2000s when Mac went through making these pinless. And these are the 4-sided. A lot of them now are 5-sided. In fact, let me show you. For instance, the Kokens are an octagonal style. They have a 5/5 deal on them, a 5th side to them now, I should say. They're an octagonal universal, the 60-degree Kokens. A lot of people ripping these off now. I've seen there's, a couple companies that are remaking these after Kokens had great success with them. Nonetheless, I've also seen some bad information from people talking about floppiness of sockets and being too tight, which never had a problem with that. In fact, I don't know anybody who's ever complained about a socket, and other than being too floppy. These are SK USA made chrome sockets, and you'd say to yourself, well, why do I have two different style with chrome and impact? And there's a very good logical reason to that, but more or less, people want to save money because these things are stupid expensive. This one socket from ADV is $33, okay? This entire set from Mixpower is $25, and I think the most expensive set I seen was half-inch from 10 to 24 was $68, which blows my mind. Now, integrity of the socket themselves is kind of up for debate. Now, once again, I've always said the collar is the weak link to this, okay? And the reason why is because if you see here, Cornwall has a pushed-in pin. Snap-on has chose to weld that on their newer sockets, and that's for good reason, because when it breaks, it retains all of this in there. It tends to retain the pin inside of this and keeps it from flying out. And a lot of times when these things break, they will throw the pin out of the side when you're working with it, and it becomes really dangerous. And I can say this with all retrospects. In fact, I can say I have a scar right here on the back of my hand from a socket, swivel socket, where I was holding the extension and it flew and it ripped my hand after it bounced off the transmission tunnel. So I have a really, really good idea what I'm talking about. Now, when I say I don't like these colors, you think to yourself, CP, the colors would inherently be safe. The problem is the colors either slip, break, or fall down, and the pin has no way to retain itself at all. Where this is peened in here. This pin is peened in here, and I guess it could be subjective, but the problem is width. The width of the socket with the collar on it keeps it from getting into a tighter access. Now you're like, well, CP, what about your ADVs? Well, these have a little bit better design because they're crimped along the top side and the bottom side, which buying the snap-on ones, I don't know who has quarter-inch ones without the collar that are welded. I think Snap-on is the only one, which they're like $700 for a set, and I'm not going that route. So, as a value, I bought the Master ADV set in a whole, and I actually got a smoking deal because I bought the deeps, the shallows, metric standard, all impact sockets. ADV has it, and I'll show it. And it was, when I bought it, and there's a video when I bought it, was really cheap. So I got a great deal on these because I think I paid basically about $100 for a set because it was $500 for everything. And there was 5 sets of sockets plus some extensions and stuff, which was awesome. However, I understand the need for having a good socket that's a valuable socket and a decent socket, and some people just are not going to spend that kind of money. Even $100 might seem much, but I was totally blown away when I seen these because I was like, are these things actually legit? First of all, they're cut in the bottom. They're chamfered in the bottom, or they're recessed to cut in the bottom. They look to be of pretty decent quality, honestly, and we're going to have to test these. Once again, I just got them. They have a nice, they have a nice etching on them. I'm not going to say it's going to last, but only time will tell. What's most intriguing is that these things seem to have a really decent. They're a little light. They seem like they might break in a little bit floppy, but I mean that's pretty good for them to shake like that, and they don't do that. I can push on them with a little bit of tension. I can feel that spring in there doing its job. You can see it's got a spring down in there. It's set down in there, but you push on it. I'm actually pretty impressed. In fact, let's look at it, the 3/8 versus the... so you can see the problem, what I was saying, though, about them inherently being bigger. That's the only downfall I see with these. You see how much wider it is than the ADV one as far as width. I mean, that is gigantic in a 1/4 inch fashion. I mean, they're both 1/4 inch, but look at how much bigger the 3/8 is on the socket side, which I'm sure they're doing that to add strength and lower cost of the socket, but nonetheless, not too shabby. I'm interested to use these to see. I don't know why I got standard set, because they were cheapest, I guess, and I just wanted to see. That's kind of what I do sometimes. This isn't a sponsored video. I bought these. They were $25, so I thought, man, this is going to be pretty cheap to look at it. But we do have plenty of older vehicles around here that we can run them on. But it's definitely, I mean, even the 1/4 inch. Look at this, the 1/4 inch. Well, let me get a 1/4 inch one just to compare apples to apples. I mean, look at how much tinier that 1/4 inch one is than the Chinese made one. Now, these are made in Taiwan, believe it or not. So once again, I don't have any USA 1/4 inch impact sockets because, I mean, they're just way out of my price range. And to have a full set of those, I'm going to have to look to see. I'll add a screenshot to see what the US made ones are, Mac or whoever has them, and see. But they are way up there. I mean, they're about the same price as a good 3/8 set. But you can see, though, the quality doesn't seem to be terrible, which, once again, like I said, these are awesome sockets. And, one thing that I would always say is that keeping them sprung right and not being too floppy, because, mainly when you use this impact socket, you want to be able to sometimes start something at an angle or, get in there at an angle, and you have to hold that socket. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. I mean, when you go to get on a fastener down deep or somewhere in a blind spot or something like that, and you have to come in at an angle, and then you can kind of adjust when you get in there, you want to get it on the head of the fastener and rock it, and then be able to get in there and then do your impacting and keep the swivel moving. But if it's flopping, you're never going to get it in there underneath, so it's a pain in the neck. And that's why having a stiff swivel socket is absolutely It isn't about buying Snap-on or anything like that, but nonetheless, I mean, even the Koken ones, I mean, look at that, they don't flop neither. There's a reason for it. Most mechanics will know and tell you. And with the chrome ones, even the chrome ones, a floppy chrome one is absolutely garbage. In fact, that's why you see a lot of people doing things like putting O-rings on them, which I do prematurely, just because it also helps keep it from going too steep of angle when I'm using them. You know, I add an O-ring to it, which helps stiffen it up, but it also keeps it from going to extreme angles and binding. So, anyways, guys, this is the video. $25 Chinese impact swivel sockets, quarter-inch swivel sockets. Absolutely incredible, honestly, for the money. Not supporting China in any way and not saying anybody has to buy these. I don't care if you do or don't. In fact, I will put a link in the description if you do, but you know, the easiest way to support this channel is you can become a channel member or give it a thumbs up and subscribe. You know, that's always the best way to support us at the end of the day. But I just thought it was interesting and something unique to look for. And people that are on a budget have to save money. I understand that, okay? I do prefer better quality tools, you know, but I understand as a tool channel, I can't be one-sided all the time, and I have to share stuff that's reasonable for everybody. It's a hat. It's the part of the several hats I have to wear to help people and kind of, you know, my job that I want to do is help people at the end of the day and give everybody options in every category. You know, that's all there is to it. And playing that person is devil's advocate. You know, I mean, I get people that are yelling at me on one end of the spectrum. You know, they're saying, "Oh, buy USA," blah blah blah. I get it. Trust me, dude. I want to buy USA. I have more USA made tools than I do. I have more USA German, more quality tools than I do Chinese tools. Then there's also the people that are like, "Oh, you're so against this and that," blah blah blah. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot be everybody's fan, okay? At the end of the day, I have to do what I can do the best, and I always look for stuff even to help people out. And I don't need these. You know, in fact, I'd give them away to somebody. But at the end of the day, that's what we do here, is try to help everybody out and give some good information. Keep people from buying junk as much as I possibly can. If I was a guy that was on a budget and I needed some swivel sockets, I would definitely be like, look, man, these will work. And I think they would work pretty reasonably for a while, but how long they're going to hold up, that's a test we're going to continue to do with. These are new to the market, so I don't know everything about them. Anyways, guys, remember, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell. Remember, keep your hands dirty and your money clean. Thanks for watching.